of forgiveness, reconciliation, tolerance, and overall peace.
Nigeria cannot become what she's meant to be without the sacrifice of Nigerians.
Everybody going away from what's in it for me, but what's in it for us as Nigerians.
As Christians in Nigeria await the commemoration of the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the death on Sunday, the prayer is for the continuation of peace in the land of Nigeria. In Abuja, Amina Nujaim, NTA News.
Senate and House Committee on INEC have commended INEC Chairman Professor Tahiru Jega for the manner he conducted the 2015 presidential election. The National Assembly Committee gave the commendation during a visit to INEC Chairman at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja. Ignatius Nko reports.
Declaration of the results of the 2015 presidential election by INEC. The Senate and House committees on INEC visited the electoral body in what could aptly be described as a thank you visit.
And I want to thank everybody that have contributed in this election, the commissioners, the regs, the other ad hoc staffs, especially the youth corpus, for the way they handled the election. And we pray that the one that is coming on for the governorship and the state house of assembly, that will go well too.
The God Almighty will guide you, protect you, so that at the end of it, at the end of last election, we'll have every cause to give God the glory.
The committee chairman observed that INEC exhibited an uncommon show of resilience, impartiality and commitment to justice and rule of law. They also expressed gratitude to President Goodluck Jonathan for his show of civility and strict adherence to the rule of law. The INEC chairman, Professor Tahiru Jega, in appreciation of their visit, assured them of a better election in April 11th, 2015 governorship election.
And as we prepare for the governorship elections and the state assembly elections on April 11, we hope that we can record even better success in terms of the organization and conduct of that election.
Professor Jega appealed to Nigerians to complement the Commission's commitment to a peaceful, free, fair and credible election by cooperating with INEC rules on the day of the election. From the INEC headquarters, Abuja, Ignatius Nko, NTA News.
Political analysts have begun to review campaign promises of the incoming government of the President-elect General Muhammadu Buhari. This was the focus of NTA's current affairs program, Good Morning Nigeria. Correspondent Abdul Malik Adiu reports.
Thank you very much.
Now he's officially the president-elect and is raring to go. His acceptance speech reflected his resilience, captured his joy and gratitude to Nigerians, but most significantly, maintained his position to serve diligently as he had promised during the campaigns.
There shall be no bias against or favoritism for any Nigerian based on ethnicity, religion, region, gender, or social status.
This promise to serve as well as several other issues raised by the president-elect during the electionary campaigns were discussed by guests on Good Morning Nigeria.
Throughout his campaigns, he was delving on corruption, provision of social services, provision of employment, and security. Knowing the history of General Muhammadu Buhari as a former military officer, he has had a very fantastic stint with fighting insurgency.
And he is also conscious of his place in history. If there is a whole lot of expectations on General Buhari, especially on two major issues, fighting corruption and fighting insecurity. He's been known to be incorruptible, and he's been known to have fought insecurity, especially fundamentalism.
The discussant also commended President Goodluck Jonathan for his apparent statesmanship, which they said was clearly devoid of party affiliation and personal sentiment. In Abuja, Abdul Malik Adio, NTA News.
Nigerians in diaspora continue to hail the peaceful conduct of the presidential election, describing it as a big plus for Nigeria. In this report from Ghana, correspondent Cordelia Ukoma says it is a big relief for Nigerians there in view of the anticipated violence that led to many Nigerians relocating to Ghana.
We awaited the outcome of the presidential election. The election that aroused their interest when political billboards started springing up in various parts of the country at the peak of campaigns. With the results now known, they have hailed not only the peaceful conduct, but also the magnanimity of President Goodluck Jonathan for displaying rare sportsmanship.
Jonathan has once again shown that yes, even though defeat is painful, nobody wants to lose, but it is always important that we learn to be, giant losers.
If you don't know the value of education, you try illiteracy. He was an educated man, and he has known that all over the world that is a game.
We in diaspora, we are happy that there is peace in Nigeria, so that God will assist General Muhammadu Buhari to carry on the national job.
I have to commend President Goodluck Jonathan when he told us that he will organize the election, one man, one vote. We thought that is a joke.
Newtown, also known as Lagos Town, is an area of Accra with a very high concentration of Nigerians. They are calling on the incoming president to see the entire country as his constituency.
People are expecting maybe after the election was over, it's going to be a war in Nigeria, but there's nothing like that.
General Muhammadu Buhari, as an elderly father, he should try and bring all Nigerians together, irrespective of race, irrespective of religion.
Some Ghanaians say by this election, Nigeria has set a benchmark.
In other countries, we've seen president refusing to accept results and would want to go to court. He has shown himself to be a real Democrat.
I can only also commend the media of Nigeria for the part they played. We didn't hear any outrageous reports of promotion of discord, conflict, and I think they went by the rules that they didn't declare the results themselves.
It is often said that once Nigeria can get it right, all other African countries too will. From Newtown, Accra, Ghana, Cordelia Ukoma, NTA News.
And back home in Nigeria, the Emir of Daura, Katsina State, Alhaji Umar Farouk Umar, has congratulated President Goodluck Jonathan for his statesmanship and gallantry in a free and fair political contest for the good of the nation. Speaking with NTA News in his palace in Daura, hometown of the president-elect, General Muhammadu Buhari, the Emir also congratulated Nigerians for the peaceful conduct of last Saturday's polls. Correspondent Ado Ali Ibrahim has the details.
Congratulating President Goodluck Jonathan on conducting free and fair election, Emir of Daura Alhaji Farouk Umar Farouk commended the president over his sense of statesmanship. He also congratulated President-elect Muhammadu Buhari on his victory and urged him to continue with political and socio-economic developmental projects put in place by the current administration. Meanwhile, the elder sister to the President-elect Muhammadu Buhari, Hajia Rakia, prayed for Almighty Allah to guide the President-elect and give him the wisdom to govern the country peacefully.
I became so excited when he was declared as the winner. I couldn't sleep because he's always looking after his relations and the immediate community. I prayed for him to deliver more to Nigerians.
Daura elders described the incoming president as a man of prosperity. However, the jubilations continues in various parts of Daura Emirate over the election of their son as a newly Nigerian president-elect. As day-to-day activities return to normal in Daura after the declaration of Muhammadu Buhari as a newly Nigerian president, yet many places in Daura remain rowdy with people's jubilations. In Daura, Ado Ali Ibrahim, NTN News.
An elder statesman, the Masanin Kano, Dr. Yusuf Maitama Sule, has described President Goodluck Jonathan as a statesman who wants Nigeria to reach its potential greatness. Dr. Maitama Sule, while addressing journalists in Kano, said this is the first time in the history of Nigeria an incumbent president concedes defeat and congratulates his opponent. Correspondent Awal Salisu reports.
President Goodluck Jonathan, who lost in the just concluded presidential elections in Nigeria, has congratulated his opponent, General Muhammadu Buhari. An elder statesman and Emerson in Kano, Dr. Yusuf Maitama Sule, said President Jonathan will go down in history as one of the greatest presidents who has established the foundation of real democracy in Nigeria. He commended Nigerians who, in spite of the tension, come out en masse and cast their votes in a peaceful atmosphere.
My hope and prayer, and indeed my dream, that Nigeria, in spite of all the crises, will overcome these crises and will come to be one great united country, where all of us will be our brothers' keepers. We will become one great country, where we'll join hands and build a strong economy. We'll be one great country, where we'll have the political clout that will enable Nigeria to do that for which it is destined to do, to lead Africa, to inspire the blacks all over the world.
Dr. Maitama Sule called on the President-elect General Muhammadu Buhari to do justice to all Nigerians and expressed the hope that Nigeria will overcome its challenges. From Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
Religious leaders and supporters of All Progressives Congress in Kaduna have advised the President-elect of Nigeria, General Muhammadu Buhari, to carry Nigerians along irrespective of belief, ethnic and political differences. Correspondent Muhammad Lawal Baba has the details.
Following the declaration of General Muhammadu Buhari of the All Progressive Congress as President-elect of Nigeria, religious leaders and other Nigerians have advised him on what to do to move the country forward. Bishop Josiah Idowu Ferron, Secretary General of Jama'atu Nasrul Islam, Dr. Khalid Abubakar Aliyu, Catholic Archbishop Matthew Man Oso Ndagoso, and a renowned Islamic scholar, Sheikh Sunus Ahmad Gumbi, have advised General Muhammadu Buhari, President-elect, to uphold his promises and regard himself as president of all Nigerians.
For Buhari, he must keep to one of the major characteristics of a leader you have in the Quran, Hadith, and the Bible, and that is he must be a promise keeper.
A good future and development for the political governance in this country.
There are issues that we hope that within the next 4 years, that this mandate that has been given, he will use it to turn the country around.
Elected president to continue to fulfill his promise, to keep the people in peace.
If we want to make changes and we want to give General Muhammadu Buhari, the power, absolute power, he needs the governors, he needs the members of the National Assembly, he needs the members of the State Assembly for him to be able to make that change very successful.
Must be in the drive, the vanguard, and build the structures that are going to change this situation. It is not easy.
They are of the view that the tasks ahead of him are enormous, hence he should be firm, committed to discharging his duty when sworn in on May 29. In Kaduna, Muhammad Lawal Baba, NTA News.
Nigeria Labour Congress have joined others in congratulating the President-elect General Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential election, which it described as the most keenly contested in Nigeria. Correspondent Funke Oga reports.
President of the NLC, Comrade Ayuba Waba, says the election of General Muhammadu Buhari is one that has opened a new and important chapter in the socio-political development of the country, noting that the nation has finally broken the jinx of transiting from one democratically elected civilian government controlled by a ruling party to one by the opposition. The NLC president urges General Buhari to consider the trust reposed in him as a sacred bond between him and the Nigerian Nigerian people, and as a call to an uncommon duty considering the peculiarities of this period in the history of the country.
Nigerian youths have been advised to rally round the president-elect as he has promised to do. The national youth leader of the All Progressives Congress, Ibrahim Dasuki Jallo, gave the advice at a celebration rally organized by the party's youth wing in Abuja. Correspondent Aliu Tukur reports.
Unity Fountain is about the heart of the FCT because the name is symbolic. When youths gather here, it is always with nostalgia for convergence for a better society. So it is with these APC supporters. The APC youth leader said the young people have another unique chance to cement their place in the government with positive contributions to nation's building. He also urged them to support the Buhari government when it comes on board with the spirit of patience and cooperation to enable the APC deliver dividends of democracy.
If you look at our manifesto, you see that there's issue of job creation, there's issue of tackling security, and also prudent management of our resources.
We must organize ourselves and refuse to be used for any violence.
Kogi State Senator-elect Dino Malaye, who witnessed the celebrations, also urged youths to be focused and hard-working. In Abuja, Aliu Tukur, NTA News.
The Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of research and planning, Christopher Katsu, has charged officers and men of the Nigerian police in the Northwest Zone to redouble effort towards the success of the last lap of Nigeria's electioneering process. He said this in Kaduna at the end of his tour to the states under his zone. Again, correspondent Muhammad Lawbaba reports.
DIG Christopher Kakwe Katsu, who monitored the conduct of the presidential and National Assembly elections in the Northwest Zone, comprising Kano, Katsina, Jigawa, and Kaduna states, and the role the officers and men of the Nigerian police played at the polls, said is commendable. Such, he noted, was the result of the various strategies put in place by the Inspector General of Police, Suleiman Abba.
I'm not surprised that we have been able to discharge our responsibility to this country creditably.
DIG Katsu called for continued synergy between other security agencies and the police. In Kaduna, Muhammad Lawal Baba, NTA News.
Christians have joined their counterparts the world over to celebrate Holy Thursday with the central message of humility, love, and sacrifice. Correspondent Rotimi Ruapemi reports.
In the Acts of Servanthood by washing feet, the Bishop of Abuja, Cardinal John Unaikon, enjoined Christian faithfuls to dedicate themselves to the service of God and humanity. He also urged parishioners to always reflect the love of God and live righteously.
And if we're really seriously aware of what it means, every holy mass should move us spiritually to not only remember what Jesus did in the last supper, but what God himself.
At St. James Anglican Church, Asokoro, the vicar admonished the worshippers to love one another and serve God in spirit and in truth.
Today we call it Founding Thursday because of what Jesus Christ did today, and that is the command to love one another.
Also at the Methodist Cathedral, Wuse Zone 3, the Most Reverend Joseph Oche enjoined members to reflect the lessons of the day.
Come low the feet of Jesus and said, for the sake of my son, for the sake of those whom I'm leading, I can do this. That will be wonderful.
According to Bible scholars, Holy Thursday is the day when Christians remember the Last Supper, the agony in the Garden of Gethsemane, and arrest and trial of Christ.
The Federal Road Safety Corps has cautioned motorists to be careful and adhere strictly to traffic rules and regulations to ensure hit-free Easter festivities. This advice was given during a routine test of drivers drunk driving at some selected motor parks of the FCT. Correspondent Aliu Kabir has more.
Records by the Federal Road Safety Corps show an increase in the number of road crashes caused by alcoholism and driving under the influence of drugs. Stakeholders say the number of casualties as a result of drunk driving are next to overspeeding. A lot need to be done to curtail the menace, particularly by the transport unions.
Every morning that we come, we are going to call drivers, call them, lecture them. Nobody should drink before travel. Nobody should take anything, alcohol before travel. Every morning we are going to be lecturing.
The Federal Road Safety Corps has engaged in a massive test of drivers every morning to ensure they are free from drugs-related substances.
Time to time they are coming here and lecture us, especially we union. After they lecture us about the driving, no drinking alcohol before driving.
The whole essence was to ensure that this Easter period, our people don't drink and drive. So we have kick-started this program in a major park like Jabi to ensure that we test the drivers to check the level of the alcohol before they set out on any journey. Because if you drink, your sense of judgment will be impaired and there will be no balance in your driving.
The Corps Education Officer says the exercise will continue across the country. In Abuja, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
That is the size of our package on this edition of the program. Good afternoon.